Gentlemen, have you ever looked into the eyes of a blue-pilled man after divorce? Not just looked at him, but studied him. Have you looked at a man who has lost both his frame and his marriage, how he handles himself, the energy around him? There's a hollowness there. A light that once burned bright now stands extinguished. He's not just older, he's emptied. And the tragedy is that often he does not understand why. So today, I want to talk about what is destroying a number of men. I want to pull back the veil on the architecture of modern marital collapse. I'm not going to look at the sanitized hallmark version, but the raw, uncompromising truth. Because if you don't understand what's really happening in marriages and relationships today, you won't risk just losing love. You'll risk losing your mission, you'll risk losing your legacy, and in some cases, your sanity, and even your life, as we saw with the case of one NIS director recently, among other several cases. In 2015, the American Sociological Association published a study on divorce, and it showed that 70% of women are the ones who normally initiate divorce. And among college-educated women, this number or percentage, it jumps to nearly 90%. Let that sink in. So if you're looking at college-educated women, women who have degrees, then the chances of the ones who initiate divorce are actually 90% more likely to do that, in the US at least. So this is not random chance. This is a system. This is a strategy. And it's a reflection of what the British anthropologist Robert Briefold codified in what we call Briefold law. So Briefold wrote a book called Mothers, okay? The book written by Briefold is called The Mothers, a study of the origins of sentiments and institutions. And in Briefold's law, Briefold says that the female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family. The female, not the male, determines all the conditions in the animal family. That is Briefold's law. And it is hypergamy unfolding in real time. So what does divorce do for men? For those who don't know, currently even in Kenya, the law allows a woman who has been divorced to have two men that are legally obligated to her. Her former husband is required by law to support her and the children, and her new husband, if she remarries, is also required to support her and the children. Okay? So she gets the best of both worlds. But what happens to the man who has been divorced? So for men, for most men, especially blue-pilled men who are caught blindsided by divorce, divorce is not just paperwork. Divorce is identity death. The pre-divorce Bob is normally a very cheerful, hopeful, and perhaps naive man. He believes that his love is going to shield him from the vagaries of divorce and female nature and modern women. What about the post-divorce Bob? The post-divorce Bob moves slower, he thinks harder, and he carries scars that are invisible to the world. He has placed his hand on the hot stove of betrayal, and he'll never touch it again. Nobody red pills men more than women do. I have talked to a woman who once approached me, and this is a woman who is an admin of a WhatsApp group full of single women. And these single women are in their 30s and 40s. She approached me because I also have a WhatsApp group of men who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And this woman told me that we should organize a meeting for these two genders or these two groups because the single women want to meet the single men. When I approached the men with this idea, they say they're not interested. Okay? So research confirms the way the scars that divorce leaves on men. There's a researcher called Mathis Kalbmin who wrote an article in the Journal of Marriage and Family. It's titled The Ambivalence of Separated Fathers. It says that men experience divorce as a collapse of identity, as a loss of status, as a fracture of fatherhood, and often the destruction of their social role. So the man not only loses his wife, but his children, his home, and his dignity. But here is a paradox. The post-divorce man is more dangerous. He may not yet know the jargon of the red pill, but he knows the truth in his bones. He has felt the teeth of betrayal. And once a man sees female nature at its sharpest, he is never the same again. They say you can either know a woman or you can love her. When women leave, and I think you've seen this in the social media among even the Kenyan celebrities and so on, when women leave, they don't live quietly. They rarely live quietly, especially women who are in social media, the slay queens, the socialites, and so on, because everything for them is an opportunity to get likes and attention. So they get new hair, they join a new gym, they get new gym clothes, they get a new man, okay, new gym membership. They fill their Instagram with new photos. In Kenya, we say, unaoga na unarudi soko. So they want to show people the vacation photos, the motivational quotes, and seductive selfies. Outwardly, she is shining. Inwardly, most of these women are full of fear, resentment, and sometimes regret. But that never makes it to the feed. This is the post hypergamous epiphany phase for these women. And this is the time that a woman realizes that she cannot easily trade up because the sexual marketplace is ruthless. Alpha males will gladly share her bed and smash. They'll clap those cheeks, but very few will be willing to make long-term commitment with them. Okay? They will not be willing to share the mortgage. The US Census Bureau, they have a report called Marriage and Divorce Rates by Age and Gender. It confirms this and it shows us that remarriage rates for women plummet after 35. That means their prospects of getting a new man, they really plummet after 35 years of age, especially for single mothers. The marketplace does not forgive time. So let's dissect this machine. In America, most men call it the divorce machine because there are lawyers, there's a family court, there are judges, and so on. Okay? So it's not just culture, it is structure. So we are going to start with Briefold's law. Remember Briefold, Robert Briefold, the British anthropologist. In his book, The Mothers, Briefold argued that if a woman no longer benefits from a relationship, whether it's financially, emotionally, or socially, she will leave. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos discovered this at a global level and at a stage. So Briefold's law basically talks about It underlines or underscores female opportunism. Okay, but this is understandable because from evolutionary psychology, women are survivalists and they seek to get the side of the bread buttered. So basically, these are just some of the reasons why divorce rates are very high and why most of them are initiated by women. So the first one is female opportunism and Briefold's law. The second one is divorce porn and FOMO, fear of missing out. So pop culture and Hollywood, they glamorize divorce. There's a movie like How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Okay? There is also Nicole Kidman's Red Carpet Glow. In East Africa, we have Zari Hassan's high-profile separations and divorce. So the social contagion drives many women to ask, what am I missing out? Actually, they feel, am I missing something? Okay? They feel left out because the women who are divorced are really glamorizing it and peddling it like it's a very nice thing. The post-divorce period is celebrated like it's a period of fun and freedom and so on. And then there is also the influencers like Oprah, and we have local celebrities. Okay, they convey the idea that a man is an accessory, not a partner. And the psychologist Carol Roosevelt wrote in her article, Commitment and Satisfaction in Romantic Associations. This appeared in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology. She calls this exit priming, which is the presence of alternatives which erodes loyalty. Okay? And this, of course, social media has really contributed to this, where there is the culture of independent women, and also social media provides the idea that a lot of men are available for grabs. Then there are also female-friendly divorce laws. Warren Farrell, in his book, The Myth of Male Power, said that the state has become the ultimate husband. Because alimony and child support, they transform divorce into financial empowerment for women. And this financial empowerment, of course, is funded by the men that they leave. In essence, leaving does not make you lose the financial incentives or rewards. There's also virtue signaling and cultural immunity. When a woman cheats in a marriage, it's the man's fault. Maybe he was not giving her attention. Maybe the sex was not good. Maybe he was mistreating her. It's a man's fault. And when she divorces, he's the one who failed. He did not hold his marriage. Shahrazad Ali, in her book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, and Iyanla Vanzant, who wrote In the Meantime, they both expose how culture pedestalizes women and punishes men for resistance. We've also talked earlier about females or women and keeping plan B men. So the beta male backup plan also incentivizes divorce. So social media provides beta orbiters. And these are thousands of men who are offering validation. So in such abundance, her husband looks disposable. So social media has increased the disposability of men because men seem to be so in such a large supply. And remember, in economics, the law of demand and supply, anything that is in large supply, its value diminishes. Okay? So social media and the beta male backup plan has also contributed to this. Then there's a cult of happiness, which Hollywood has really promoted. Disney will teach women that marriage is equal to happiness. And if you're not happy in your marriage, you should end it. Okay? But reality says otherwise. When the dream cracks, she presses reset. And this is why many women also have the way people have career goals, women also have marriage goals. Like normally when you are a professional, If you have a job that does not align with your career goals, you quit that job and go to another one. And women also have relationship goals. If the marriage does not meet their goals, then they press reset and end that particular marriage. So that cult of happiness has contributed to this. There's also female solipsism and hypergamy. So evolution has primed women or wired them to prioritize feelings over facts. And she can know her children need stability. Okay? Many women know this, many married women know this, and yet they can still file for divorce because our emotions demand it. This is all over social media nowadays, where women are saying they felt bored or they felt tired and frustrated, and so they filed for divorce and later regretted it. So during Stone Age, this was okay, but today it is quite destructive. Then there's also the myth of evergreen SMV, evergreen sexual marketplace value, which started a long time in the 70s and 80s after the sexual revolution when the contraceptive was formed. So pop culture inflates female sexual marketplace value into the late 30s and 40s. Women are told you don't have to rush into marriage, prioritize your career first. Okay? So many women feel that their sexuality is evergreen. There is nothing like menopause and so on. Kevin Samuels says that the wall always comes. The wall is unbeaten. So many years, 4 years after divorce, many women quietly start dating down. This is something that is observable all over the world. Then lastly, there's a normalization of promiscuity. At one time, chastity was really an important virtue. It had cultural weight, and so did commitment. But white dresses nowadays have become fashion. They are not symbols of purity. And churches, in pandering to feminine imperatives, reframed marriage as a performance instead of a covenant. So, gentlemen, this is the battlefield. This war is not against women. The war is against ignorance of the laws that govern mating, reproduction, and power. If you don't know the rules, you will be played by them. So I'm going to leave you with these questions. Are you building a life so strong that betrayal cannot break your frame? Is that the kind of life that you're building? Secondly, are you vetting women with discipline or gambling on their gratitude? Thirdly, do you control your mission, or has she become the center of your orbit? Because in this era, your frame is your fortress. Lose it, and courts, culture, and even the woman you love will reshape you in their own image. I'll see you in the next one. Gentlemen, if you found value in this video, do me a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with another man who needs to hear it. Here is why it matters. When you like and subscribe, YouTube pushes this content to more men out there who are struggling silently. So your simple click could be the reason another man wakes up to his reality. You could actually save a life by doing so. And for you who has already watched, subscribing makes sure you never miss these lessons. Every week, I'll be dropping strategies, red pill truths, and survival frameworks that will help you to stay sharp, stay sovereign, and ahead of the curve. So subscribe, like, share, because when one man wins, we all rise.